What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We're talking about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
So,
and Chris Abacon.
What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? So, if you have not already, please go back. Monday and Tuesday are topics. Wednesday, discussion. Thursday will either be Ask a CISSP in some regard, or it will be a throwback. And then Fridays, everything else. So that's this episode, movies, books, games, non-cyber related. So if this is your first time listening, this is the everything else show. And then if you want to hear topics such as people being arrested for faking their remote jobs and Israeli North Koreans. Monday. Tuesday was the FBI seizing BreachForums, so it's a pretty big forum that they took down. Go FBI. And then Wednesday's discussion revolved around a new social media scam where they're able to play on people's emotions and the algorithm to then backdoor in some malicious stuff. So definitely tune in for that one as well. And now everything else. So it's been an eventful week for me, but I want to hear what you guys have going on this week.
So I actually took in a little bit more media this week, so it's more TV watching. So I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. I probably will eventually. But the Tom Brady roast, right? I didn't watch it, but there was somebody who came out of this being a star, and it was this comedian Nikki Glaser. I've known about her for years, right? I've seen her comedy special, a couple comedy specials. And she has a new one out that I watched she is an acquired taste for a lot of people. Like the stuff she talks about, some people are going to be like, oh gosh, you know what I mean? But I imagine if you've seen her at any of the roasts she's done, because she'd be on Comedy Central roasts as well, like you know what you're getting into before you do it. But it was funny watching that. So that's out on Netflix is what it was on. And then I watched this movie, American Fiction. It's got Jeffrey Wright, Tracy Sterling K. Brown.
I'm really surprised. Oh, that's not Shannon Jam.
I know what I'm getting into, though, right? It's not promising a bunch of action, and I only get 3 scenes.
Right?
You know
they fake you.
Right? They tell me right up front when I watch the trailer, like this is what it is. And I'm like, okay, I'll watch that. You know what I mean? I know what that is, but it was not bad, man. I was not like there was a couple times you're just like, oh man, like it kind of pulled at you a little bit, but American Fiction, it wasn't that bad, and the premise of it made me laugh because I've often thought this myself, right? I've often thought this. If you watch the movie, pretty much the gist of it is this guy is a writer. Jeffrey Wright is a writer that he can't sell his books, right? Like it's been a while since he's written one. He's trying to sell another one. None of these publishers are jumping on it, right? But Issa Rae is also in it. Issa Rae is always in it, also in it. But he goes to this like writers conference or something like that, and she has this book, and when she's talking, she comes off as Issa Rae does, is very intelligent and whatnot. But then she starts reading the book, and it's very much stereotypical of Black culture, right? Black life, right? A lot of ebonics in the slang and stuff like that. And he sees this, and he's like, what in the world? You know, like, why are people buying this, right? So his publisher is talking to him, and he's like, they want a Black book. He was like, I am Black, and I wrote a book. Like, why, why does this not work? You know what I mean? So he does the same type of thing. Like he has a pseudonym. He puts his book out, makes up a whole backstory about his life. He's wanted. He's a felon, and it sells like crazy. Like people are loving it. And he's like, why is nobody in on the joke here, right? Because he wants to expose. Like he wants to go and expose. But it's a good movie. I'm not gonna give it all away, but American Fiction, it was interesting. Sterling K. Brown. That was that Prime? I think that was in Prime.
Oh, you talking? I want to see it, and it's free right now. Oh, you talking my language?
Prime. Yeah, it was free. It was free. It was on Prime, I think. I don't know if you just look up American Fiction streaming, it'll tell you. But I'm pretty sure it was Prime because I watched Netflix, Prime, and then that was a good one too. And then I started watching this documentary. Okay, I don't want to be controversial right now, but we need to talk about Cosby. All right, Kamau Bell did this documentary. It's a 4-part, and I've gotten through 3 parts of it. Very interesting, and there's some stuff I did not know about Cosby that I'm like, man, that is admirable. And again, despite everything that's happened, that's gone down with him, like it could probably be attributed to him that he was one of the first to bring Black stuntmen into Hollywood, right? Because he did the TV show I Spy. I don't know if you guys know.
I remember I Spy.
Yeah.
Reruns anyway.
So yeah, reruns, right? We weren't alive in the
Yeah.
60s, right? So I don't think anyway. Like if y'all are vampires or Dorian Gray. You know what I mean? If y'all were alive then, y'all look good for that being that old. But yeah, he was one of the first ones to bring in like black stunt people into the industry, because the way they used to do it before is they would just paint up white actors and they pretty much be doing blackface, right? And they showed some old scenes of when they were doing it, and like even for the females, it would be white males that they just did their skin black.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wow.
But he was one of the first that was like, we are going to do this, and I'm like, man, that's admirable. You know what I mean? But at that time, he was still doing some stuff he shouldn't have been doing. You know what I mean? But it is interesting. Like I've gotten through 3 episodes, and they've gotten through the Cosby years, and the 4th episode I think is going to be the more recent stuff that everybody knows about, because the way the 3rd episode ended, the Hannibal Buress comedy set, it kind of blew it all up. You know what I mean? Like they show a clip of it and then it goes off and it's like next episode. I'm like, oh, okay, I know where we're going with this one. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's some stuff he did, like the amount of money he gave to universities and education is just like, man, why is all that tarnished? You know what I mean? Like by what you did. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he shouldn't be, but I'm saying that's not what people think about it.
Right.
You know
And that's what Chappelle was saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a weird juxtaposition. Like, because for me, I'm one of those people like everything you've ever said or done. Like, did he? Oh man, so much music.
Yeah.
I can't listen to because this guy's out here doing what he's doing. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, it makes it really hard because I grew up on Cosby, right? Like that's TV Dad, and then TV Dad is.
It is interesting. Like if you ever want to watch an interesting documentary, like I said, they go into some stuff. And again, this is interviews of people from back in the day. That's just like, and they got some of the victims on here talking about their experiences, man. And it's just like, wow, man.
It's
like,
both sides of them. That's crazy.
Yeah. But W. Kamau Bell is the one who did it. Go ahead, Chris.
Kind of random note. I know you were talking about musicians, and the first thing I thought was R. Kelly. And recently, I mean, ever since this commission or whatever, but the memes on him have been so good recently. That there's one
defend Diddy.
Yeah, there's one where he's saying something to the effect that "I'll take you home with me," blah blah blah. He's singing, of course, amazing voice. He's he's amazing singer, right? But then he's like, "You got to be 18, right?" And they have a dude running across the stage with an 18 sign. And I just lost it. That's some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen. But I'm just like, you're seeing that stuff, and then you really realize how like so unhinged some of these people are. It's like, completely wild.
Yeah,
completely wild.
To be like, it's always the people who are the most brilliant and just have to stuff. You like, yo, like I guess I don't know. Like you're depleted one reserve to boost the other one. I'm a musical genius, but I'm morally bankrupt. So you're like, what?
Exactly.
Like you can't be both.
That's true.
That's crazy.
And that is the case, right? So like it's to the point now where nothing will surprise me. Like I don't know if you guys pay attention to some of the stuff going on with Dwayne Johnson, but like he's starting to catch heat now. You know what I mean?
No, not The Rock.
Really?
Like just different stuff about. So remember how he had that fight with Vin Diesel? Like you're not being a professional, you're showing up late, doing all this. He's been accused of that now. Like he show up late to sets.
Really?
I did hear about that. He was like 8 hours late or something to the set.
Yeah. So like that stuff is starting to come out for him. Like it's to the point where like I don't expect anyone. It is only a matter of time. Don't get on me for this before they get something on Keanu Reeves. I'm just telling you.
No.
It's a matter of time.
No.
He's untouchable, right?
Cancel
right?
Shannon.
I'll
cancel you before you cancel Keanu.
Hey, it was a good run, fellas. It was a good run. No, I'm saying like because
he's so good. He is so good.
Yes, and he's such a good. Like there's stuff that he does. Like when it came to like the whole Me Too movement and whatnot, like they showed like when he would take pictures, he would have it to where his arm was off of women. You know what I mean? Like he would I don't want any sense of impropriety, so he'd put his arm, and it'd be kind of weird, right? Because he's not touching them. But he'd have his arm around, not touching them. Clearly not touching them, right?
I thought that was before the Me Too movement. I thought those pictures were before the Me Too movement.
It may have been.
Because he's always been that kind of person.
Maybe. But like that's when I started seeing them. It's like they would show these pictures of Keanu Reeves. So I thought they were being taken then. But if it was before, he was ahead of his time and thinking, look, I'm not trying to come off as, someone that is doing something wrong, to women. And maybe that's what they were showing, and I just didn't pick up on it that it was older pictures or whatever. because he doesn't age either, right? So like it could have been 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
That's very
Like,
true.
oh, yeah.
That's very true.
Maybe he already had that Mike Pence mentality where he's like, never be alone with another woman unless you're with your wife. Something like that. I'm like,
could be.
I mean, that's good advice.
Yeah. But no, it's one of those things where it will not surprise me. Like when it comes out, I'll be like, yeah, there. Like, but
I will be surprised.
I'm still watching John Wick.
And I heard watch the fourth one then before they catch him.
You got me thinking on Dwayne Johnson though. Do you think it's just a consequence of his success? I mean, really early in his career, he seemed to be like that, success story. He was a wrestler turned actor, and he had that endearing thing about him. But do you think that he's be so successful in his recent years that he can show up late 8 hours, or he can what's that DC movie he made? He wanted to become the main
Black Adam.
Black Adam. He wanted to become the main character of DC. Do you think he just has this main character syndrome going on with his life?
I don't want to comment on it because the internet is forever. Like once this gets out there,
that's true.
It'll be like Shannon said this. It'll never be.
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge Dwayne Rock. Yeah, I'm a fan.
I'm a fan. Here's the thing. I'm still a fan even after all that. But I can't sit here and say the reason behind it. I don't know if it is true or if it is not. It did not change my view of him. I'll tell you that right now. It didn't change my view of him. And the thing with him is that he does have a success story aspect to him, right? So the name of his production company is $7 Production, and it's because there was a point where he had $7 in his pocket, and that's all he had, right? Like that's why he started he named the production company what he did, because he's like, I came up.
That's awesome.
I was almost at the bottom, you know what I mean? Or I was there, I don't know if it's a matter of there will come a point like everybody takes that hit, right? Oprah was untouchable, right? And then it was like with her and Dwayne Johnson, right? That was another thing they were taking a hit on was the Maui thing, right? When they had the fire over there in Maui, right? So like there comes a point where people are like, yeah, too much good news now. Let's do something bad. Like that's gonna bring the views.
That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. We keep forgetting that Hollywood is all scripted, right? So any of these. We even alluded to it last week with the Kendrick Lamar thing. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, or he could have been like. So my thing would be like, I'm not trying to put anything on the Rock. I'm not trying to speak evil of him either because I do like him. It could be he was partying all night because that seems to be real Hollywood, right? Because 8 hours is a long time. That's a full day. He didn't show up, so maybe he's sleeping something off, which is not an excuse. I'm just saying that'd be less nefarious than anything else. Or it could be that he was sick. Yeah, that dude is way bigger than he should be. I'm just saying.
You know what would be crazy if it turns out it's true, and it's because he was doing events where it's one of those things where he did something admirable. Like he signed every autograph.
Yeah, he went to like a sick kid hospital.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like it could be something like that. And we're all like, oh, you're terrible for making people wait. He was like, but I had fans I was taking care of. Like I will, And it's his production company that's taking a loss. Like a lot of the stuff. Evan Buck's production is on a lot of the stuff that he does. So his production company is eating some of this loss. You know what I'm saying? Whenever there's production costs. So it's coming out of his pocket if that is the case. But I don't know if that's the case. I'm just saying it could have been, right? But he seems like if he's not as good a person as he says he is, like he's a very good actor. I'll tell you that right now.
I mean, he convinced me wrestling was real for a while.
It's real to me, damn it.
People were gonna sit there that whole time to catch that people's elbow, right? Like nobody was gonna move.
The Fast and Furious movies convinced me that Vin Diesel was the same height as The Rock, and he is definitely half his size.
And they both have superhuman strength.
They always see eye to eye, and you be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise is like seeing people eye to eye. Like Tom Cruise is like 5'5". It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's crazy. But no, thank you for the movie tip though. I'm gonna check that out. Not tonight. Probably before the next time we record. I'll probably check out with the missus.
Yeah. But that was pretty much it for me. I took in those things. The wife and I didn't really watch anything this week together. So usually there's something, we'll watch together, but we just didn't get a chance to make it up. My children, it's coming up on the end of their school year, really, right? So they got like 3 more days left. So she's been at the school a lot this week. They've had field days and field trips and stuff like that. Because we didn't get as many snow days as we usually get here in Colorado this past winter, like they're just like, we usually don't have these days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
we taught all the things.
Yeah, we taught everything we need to teach. So let's watch Space Jam. You know what I mean? Let's do stuff like that. But yeah. But what about you, Chris? How was your week?
My week was actually pretty light on the media side. We're moving locally, so I've been doing a little bit of packing here and there. Been doing a little bit of studying for CMMC certification exam, things like that. But of the stuff that I did watch, so documentaries. I only watched two documentaries this week. One was What Jennifer Did. It's a murder documentary, but basically she's an Asian female from Jennifer Pan from Toronto, Canada, right? So she was accused of killing her parents, or being a conspiracy of killing her parents. But essentially, it came down to the fact that she conspired with a boyfriend to kill her parents because of how they had objections to her dating him because he was a drug dealer. So you can tell how that story devolved. So that is really it was really interesting. But again, pretty sad, obviously. But the father ended up surviving, right? So the mother died, but the father survived. So obviously, with his, testimony and everything. But I don't want to spoil anything. But it was really good. But it was kind of heart wrenching too. Like, man, what would drive your daughter to kill her parents, right? But you come up from these strict upbringings, right? I can definitely see, and I think they just had high expectations of her. All her peers were like going to med school or whatever, and objectively, she was smart, but like she was an average to smart student, and they were expecting her to get into all these schools and things like that. And I think she lied about even attending college, right? Even though the parents gave her money, right? So she'd use that money for something else. We don't know. But it's wild. That was wild. And then the other documentary we watched was called Poisoned, another, happy one where the food supply chain is poisoned by it talked about the E. coli outbreak. If you guys remember, sometime in the 90s, they were accusing like Jack in the Box for cooking undercooked burgers, right? But the question was the burger tainted itself, or was it due to the process of cooking, right? So of course, then the documentary goes into cabbage, E. coli, and there's unsanitary, let's just say, streams of water that feed them, right? So it's everything eats poison. It's jacked up. It makes you fear. It's like buying chicken, right? Like, oh man, this is nasty.
So Chris, real quick,
yeah,
before you go into that, so like my wife and I were having a conversation like a couple months ago. Like ever since COVID kicked off, have you noticed how many food recalls there have been for different things? I don't know if you guys
has it been more?
It's been crazy. It's been wild.
That's interesting.
I
it might be because of worker shortage, or just it might be that. I mean, that it can be. The supply chain, at least from the food supply chain. I don't claim to be an expert, but I think what it is maybe certain organizations aren't taking responsibility, right? Oh, it's not my responsibility that your chickens are getting fed the right food, or that it's clean, right? So there's talk of like irrigation systems being tainted with like animal waste, right? And when that gets into to irrigating vegetable farms and things like that, that's where you get these E. coli outbreaks. But I think with COVID and everything, it may be because of maybe lack of workers, perhaps. It might be due to lack of attention due to that. So there's multiple factors that could contribute to outbreaks. Maybe something's in the water, literally. So it's weird to me, man. It's really, really weird to me.
I don't do lettuce.
And then
in restaurants,
heck no.
Like I have no beef with lettuce in general, but like it's always at restaurants where people get sick off the lettuce. So I'm like, you know what? Everything else but the lettuce. Yeah,
no lettuce, please. Something you can cook or that you guys actually wash, and not just take out of the bag. I think they did some warning on prepackaged lettuce and spinach or something like that. But then on the less gloomy side, I am watching the NBA playoffs. As of this recording, it's Game 7 of the Wolves and the Nuggets. Game 7 is tonight. And I'm excited for that. So I'm not watching it again. My thing is, if I watch the Timberwolves, they're going to lose because I want them to win. So I don't watch those important games. And they've done well this season. because I haven't watched them all this season. So we'll see how they do. Because I used to get Game Pass and all that stuff, and years we suck. We just we survived like Johnny Flynn, Khan, his days. I mean, we passed on Stephen Curry, guys. We passed on Stephen Curry.
It happens. You know how many people passed on Tom Brady?
Yeah, that's true. But still, like we passed on generational talent. Like 20 some years was our last playoff series win until this last year. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, exciting. It's exciting time in sports. We did our fantasy draft for our dynasty league and for football, right? So we drafted rookies. There was a lot of great quarterbacks and wide receivers, right? But in the dynasty draft, you keep your draft from your previous season, right? So you're just drafting rookies. So for me, I actually drafted running backs. Hopefully, one of them turns out to be the next Alvin Kamara. That's all I'm saying. But Alvin Kamara or somebody. Hopefully I get lucky, but I haven't been so lucky with my drafts recently. But that's really all I have.
That is so early, Chris, that you guys did it this early.
Yeah, it's a dynasty league, so it's rolling. I think it's our third year doing it. And what you do is it's the same people. We just draft right after the NFL draft, so we're drafting the rookies these times because we already have a team. Right? So it's really interesting. It is pretty early,
but you have to cut some players, though, right? To make room, or does your roster just get ever expanding?
So what you do is you put them in, it's like a holding, I think you call it's the bench or in the taxi squad. So on the app called Sleeper, you put them in you pretty much put them on the bench all season and you can't take them out during the season, right? But once you can only do things in the off season with that specific roster. So right now I'm over 2 spots, but I've got those 2 rookies right in the taxi squad, so they're not going to be playing this year. Does that make sense? So it's like you're playing for a long term. So it's a different strategy because you're working on you. It's more important that you trade draft positions and stuff like that because you're playing for the long game. So it's like you're a GM in this.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're basically a GM. That's too much.
I've heard of the keeper league, but you only get to keep 2 from the previous year, right? That you have, but then the rest
of the dynasty league,
back in, the keeper leagues, you just keep 2 and then redraft again. You're talking way more in depth. I haven't seen any training camp or mini camp or preseason. I'm not ready to make any decisions yet. You know what I mean?
So I would prefer the traditional league where you draft every year, but again, I actually started enjoying this process a lot just because it makes you think for the future. So that's a little bit more of an exciting prospect for me. But of course, I'm in other random leagues that you draft, 2 weeks before season starts, blah, blah, blah. They're not too serious. I don't do any money leagues anymore. So that stuff got too competitive and I got too stressed out about that.
And you root against your own team.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do that. I'm the Vikings, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's all I had this week. Fun times.
That's pretty cool. I dabble with the fantasy, and then I'll forget to sit people out that I heard I'm trash.
Yeah.
And then I root against myself because I want to root against my team, right? I want to root against the Bills. So I don't know. But speaking of football, though, before we move too far on, NCAA 2025. Anybody picking that up? Anybody trying to jump on the college bandwagon? Well, they got names.
I was never a fan of it before it went away. But with
a decade.
But even with the name, image, and likeness deals that are out there, some of these players are still going to be unnamed, right? You got some of these college players that have deals with different companies to where it's going to be hard for them to participate in this. It may be Shedeur Sanders. May not be in the game because he has this deal with this other company or whatever.
Right. So I think he is. I think he is. They specifically said he's on there. I thought that it was an opt-out type situation. I forget how it's supposed to. Everybody's getting $500 or something like that, and then if you're a big name, you get paid more to be on the cover and what have you. So I don't know. It seems okay, and then it'll grow and evolve over time. This first season just seems to be just everybody gets. I think it's $500 or $600 and a copy of the game. So people, no name people will be in the game. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, go number 20.
Yeah, you're the last man on the roster. You still get in the game and a couple bucks. You can buy some ramen.
I was not a fan of it before it even went away. And again, it's EA, right? So like Madden, like I bought Madden because people kept challenging me. You know, I ain't gonna mention no names, but
I played it like 5 times. We talked about that in my house. They were like, you, because I was getting on RJ about 2K. I was like, you don't need to buy that this season. You played it like 5 times. You poured all this money into it. You keep complaining about it. And he was like, you're right. I'm gonna hold out. He was very mature about it because I didn't know he had a whammy for me. He was like, and are you gonna buy Madden? Because I didn't see you play that. I was like, I'm not.
But last year you had to buy because you know your franchise
I had to
quarterback
get
was on the
it. I had to
cover,
get
right?
it for yeah. I had
Yeah,
to.
I understand that. You know what's crazy is the year it had Lamar on it. I did not get it. I didn't get it the year it had Lamar on it because I played. They did the 7-day trial where you could play it for free. I think I got 2 days in, and I was like, I
You're
will
like,
not be
nah.
buying this year. Like it is awful. It was so
Gotcha.
glitchy, and like even as the year went on, they were patching it and whatnot. And I was like, I'm not falling for it. I'm not.
I don't understand how they haven't perfected it yet. To be honest with you, like they just keep like playing with like legitimately just sell me. I think you can do it. You build the best one, right? Like you keep making these iterations, but in the background you have another team. Not to really talk about the game industry is like having issues right now, right? Mass layoffs and things of that nature. So I feel for all those people. In the
Mhm.
perfect world scenario, you would have another team that's developing the next generation of Madden. And then when you get to that one, it becomes a platform, just like Fortnite or Roblox or whatever, and you just pay for updated rosters. That would be my ideal situation. Because every year you tweaking for like a few months because it has to roll out every year, and it is not good, like you said. But I'm also trash at it, so I have a bias. So there's that. But I forgot. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit us up at the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or ask a CISSP. We do episodes every day. So Monday and Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays ask a CISSP, which is an interview or some type of other type of episode, and then Fridays everything else just like this: movies, books, games, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm like, why can't you just build a better I would say like give the license back out and then allow other studios to make it, but we see that it's only really room for one. Like they took so I would say give it to was it Visual Concepts because they made 2K. So remember they had NFL
Mhm.
2K was amazing. I had it on the Dreamcast. But now they are the makers of NBA 2K, and it is a great game for what's the word I'm trying to look at? Customer satisfaction, customer. I don't know what you would call it, but
You mean the company outreach or something like that isn't really
no,
good?
why? Like, so you make a player, they're trash. You have to put currency into them. Like they make it so you have to pay them more money. They release a product,
Oh,
and if you're just playing just with team against team, so if I'm just playing with de facto the Knicks versus the Pacers, great game. If I want to create a player, he's going to come into the league unable to dribble, unable to shoot, unable to do anything unless I put in VC is their currency. And like, I want to say RJ probably poured in like 20, $30 to make his character somewhat okay. And he was still frustrated. And he quit playing it this season.
I think that's the consequence of just the game industry. It's like these microtransactions. It's just like it's getting too much, man. I liked
Right.
it back when a game was complete when you bought it. You know?
Or completely broken because
Yeah,
there's no
true.
patch in it.
You, Speaking of broken games, do you guys remember this N64 Superman game?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that is the
I
worst
had
game
it.
I've ever played. Yeah, like, I remember how bad that was, and I'm like, I still beat it.
I never beat it. It was trash. You had him flying through rings and getting shot with bullets and getting hurt. But
Yeah.
if you ran fast enough, you could break into walls you weren't supposed to break into. Did you ever do that before?
Yes,
And
I
there's
just
always
remember
water
how.
behind the wall. Why was there always
Yes,
water behind the wall?
probably like the worst game ever made, but like there was just something so charming about it to me. Like I don't know, I was young, but I beat it.
They just can't make a Superman game unless you're fighting. Like if you make a Superman game, you have to be fighting other. What do they call them? The people,
Superheroes,
Uh,
metahumans.
metahuman. Yeah.
Kryptonians. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the only way.
metahumans.
That's a good idea, Chris. Like the Battle for Krypton. I'd play that.
There you
Everybody's
go.
just national each other because it doesn't work with when you put in regular people. Like you legitimately is unstoppable.
Yeah, you
So
got to take out the solar energy bullcrap. so he doesn't become superhuman anymore or Superman, right? So
Then what's the appeal?
you gotta.
What's the appeal?
That's
Then? 'Cause
true.
he can't fly, right? He's not bulletproof. Like,
Yeah, I would say the opposite. You would have to make it that everybody has to be Superman-esque.
see,
Then everybody's immortal.
yeah,
Pretty much can't die.
but you don't even know if that works that well, right? Because like Batman has a plan for everybody, right? Batman can kill Superman if he needs to,
That's
right?
true.
He's the greatest detective. He's super intelligent, right? So he has a plan for everybody in the Justice League. I'll off you like this. I'll off you like this. I'll off you like this, right? Because I'm the only regular human here. You know what I'm saying? Like he's flying into outer space, right? Like he has no problem flying into outer space every week. You know what I mean? To go to the station, or what do they call it? The not the space station. It's called it's Justice League headquarters. But yeah, has no problem with it. So like you have a regular human that can put that business on them, you know, if need be, right? Like take some of these kryptonite bullets, you know, I'm shooting a gun now, whatever it may be, right? So I don't know. I don't know how and I get it. I know Ryan Superman's not your jam, right? I get it, right? Like he's too much.
The bad incarnation.
Yeah. But
I'm red. Superman is my favorite.
Oh, the Red Sun? Yeah, Red Sun. Yeah. But which was a good, I watched that not too long ago too. That was a good.
It was real good.
Yeah.
It was real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are we going with that before we start bashing Superman? Just game design in general. Yeah. So I get it. They have to make more money. Just charge me. Like, and again, I'm speaking from a position of privilege. I'll just pay you whatever the game costs without you having to nickel and dime me. But that's just not what games are becoming. Like you have forever games that are just killing the rest of the market. And not to hate on those, because that's what my sons play. They play their Fortnite. They play their Roblox. And those games are forever games. So everybody else is underneath that. And you just have to extrapolate as much money as possible. And when it goes good, it goes good. And when it goes bad, it goes bad. Because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm really into that. And it's just a great game in my opinion. They didn't make they didn't make their targets on this great game. So now Square Enix is talking about going multi-plat as their new strategy. No longer doing the single console initiatives because like it's hurting their bottom line because there just simply are not enough consoles out there because of COVID and all the other stuff. They're not able to turn profit because people who buy Rebirth will have to be people who bought Remake, and most people who bought Remake were on the PS4 and they haven't migrated yet. So now they're saying like we just can't make money on just one console, so now we have to go multi-plat, which I'm completely cool with. But my thing is like, is that going to hurt the next? Because it's a trilogy. So is that going to hurt Final Fantasy VII? It'll start with an R, right? Like regeneration. I don't know, but is that going to hurt development? Because they poured so much resources in this one, it didn't turn a profit like they wanted to. Are they going to make the next one shorter or put less features in it, or you know what's going to happen to this next game? So that's kind of scary. But I think we got here because I was complaining about 2K and currency.
Yeah.
Because games weren't always regulated like they are currently with pricing. Like when I bought Mortal Kombat for the Genesis, it cost me $100 from KB Toys because games didn't have de facto prices. They just charged you what they needed to charge you to make whatever profit they wanted to make. And then one day, I forget which console did it, but they were like, a game now only costs $40, $50, and it's been slowly increasing, but budgets have ballooned. They said Spider-Man 2 cost like $300 million or something like that to make. Like something ridiculous.
For only 30 hours of gameplay? Crazy.
Yeah, like budgets have exploded. So it's like I won't say Final Fantasy. Like GTA 6 when it drops will probably be $1 billion game.
You saying to develop? You saying it'll probably cost $1 billion to develop?
To develop and market, because usually the marketing budget costs the same as the development budget. So if you spend $500 million making a game, you have to spend $500 million marketing the game. I don't know why that's a thing, but it's a thing.
Here's my question about marketing now, right? So you bring this up, and I had thought about this before, and it was just like a quick passing thought. Why does it cost so much now when social media makes it so much easier for you to advertise it? They get a YouTube channel. How much is that costing them to maintain? You put it out there on that YouTube channel, it will have 100 million views, like it did, right? When that trailer dropped, it had hundreds of millions of views. Like, what is the cost of that? You're not doing billboards anymore.
I think it's the algorithm. I think that they will throttle it on purpose. Is it not
There's
being paid?
also inherent cost to marketing. Like people, I think there's probably like market databases. You got more analysts, right, than ever. So you got people looking at trends, yada, before they make an ad or even. So it's wild.
But to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, like you're going to pay somebody hourly to say, "Give me the data on this." What does market research show? You can get a college student with a fresh marketing degree to come and tell you this is what trends show, right? You're not paying them that much. Let's say you.
But also, you got to put it on sides of buses. You got to put it on banners. You got to put it on sides of buildings.
But that's what I'm saying.
Commercials.
Do you have to do that anymore?
Everywhere.
But that's what I'm saying is, do you have to do that anymore for it
I
to
think
be
you do,
advertised?
though. I think you do, because like if you
For a
don't,
game as ubiquitous as a GTA 6, I think so.
because
Yeah.
it'll be the last. Like if it does hit, right? Like so, hopefully it does what GTA 5 did, and it's like the biggest media product of all time. You're gonna have to make sure that it's the only thing you see and hear in order for it to turn its profit. Because this game made how much money are they making? I forget. It's over $1 billion.
I thought you said it was something like $10 billion or something.
Something ridiculous.
Yeah,
and they have to do that again. So they're going to have to put it everywhere too. And my thing is like, yeah, you could make a post, but the post is not going to go viral because Meta's going to shut it down. They're going to be like, where's our money at?
No. So like, I'm not saying just like a post on Facebook or something like that, right? But like YouTube specifically. So social media is so prevalent now that people aren't going to legitimate, news organizations to get their news. They're going to YouTube or Facebook or wherever, right? Like they're going to social media. If it gets that many views on YouTube, it's going to spread like wildfire. It's kind of like the way of the newspaper, right? Do you need something static on the side of a bus, on a billboard to show those types of things, right? Like the billboards I see when I drive around my city right now, it's Carl's Jr. It's some local heating and cooling company, stuff like that, right? I'm not seeing big things like this. You know what I mean? Right. Like it's usually local. Like it's just not something you see. Like it'll be an ad that pops up when you're browsing the internet, whether it be on your phone, laptop, PC, or your tower, whatever it may be. That's kind of what it is, man. Like I don't know. I don't know if marketing should cost that much in this day and age with it being so readily accessible to post somewhere.
Yeah. Like thinking about it too, they probably hire consultants and things too, right?
But
people want to know that people want to make sure they're the right thing, and they're going to pay people to tell them to do what they already know they should do.
But I think YouTube needs to shut it down though. Like YouTube is only if it's profitable to them, right? So like Shannon Sharp getting 50 million views is because it went viral, but still it has to be allowed to thrive. It has to be put in front of other people's faces. Because I have a Meta business account for us, and it's always asking me for money, right? So like I put all this stuff so the Meta business account allows me to post on Instagram and Facebook, and then I can make them different. I can make them the same. I can push them out on schedule, like things of that nature, completely free. It's just to help, so I don't have to have multiple accounts. I have one account that can push it out through multiple channels. In order for me to boost it, because I always cap at 400, 421, 457. Like those are usually as high as it goes. You'll say, do you want to boost this post? It'll cost, I think it's like, if depending upon how big you are and how many people see it, it scales. So I think right now, if I want 1,000 people or so to see it, it's like $12 per post. Like, so they're already monetizing that system. So it may be more expensive than putting it on a billboard or putting it somewhere else. But at the end of the day, I think they have no choice because it's not going to go viral without the backing of the platform, and the platform will throttle Rockstar.
See that for something on a smaller scale, right? Like this is $10 billion or whatever it is. It's already spoken for itself. It's been re-released how many times now? You know what I mean? GTA,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I bought it at least twice, if not 3 times.
You know what I'm saying? Like how not have to start from the bottom like we would for this podcast. You know what I mean? We're getting there, right? We're getting up there, right? But we're not. How many people know about this podcast compared to how many people know about Grand Theft Auto, the series? There's 5 games. You know what I mean? Like they don't have to try as hard to do that. Advertisers are going to jump on board to be showing during that trailer. They're going to be like, let me put my stuff in your trailer, right? Because like with YouTube, unless you sign in, I think like you get all types of ads and whatnot, right? Like I don't know. I don't foresee it being as hard for them because they already have the leg up. They've already put the years in. They've already put the time in. I don't know. They're not paying. I doubt YouTube is making them pay all this money for it to expand the post and do all this. They don't have to. They're like, no, it's like, it's like people that are hooked on drugs. It sells itself. You know what I mean? I'm serious. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
you said, because I can't wait. Because I'm hooked to the GTA. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. I cannot wait.
Exactly. And you are not alone in that. Like, it has not sold and made as much as it has because nobody has been buying it. You've bought it 4 times, right? How many times did you say?
Two or three.
Oh, okay. I thought
three,
okay.
three max.
Okay. But that's what I'm saying is that it is already there.
No, it's true. So yeah, I don't know, but that seems to always be the thing though. Like if the thing costs $100 million to make, you have to spend $100 million in marketing. Like I don't know where that comes from, but that just seems to be the thing. Like you have your breakouts. Like you have like Pal World, which made so much money the developer had to say, we don't know what to do with this money. Like we're generating so much money, we don't even know what to do with it. Thank you. But that's not always the case though, right? So yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. So I guess we'll see what the future holds. But like, because when those stats drop, like that's day one, like it launches, and it's the fastest selling media product of all time. It's breaking all these records. They'll eventually in a investor meeting spit out how much they had to spend in marketing to make it happen. Because you will see it everywhere. There'll be planes writing it in the sky. It'll be on the sides of cruise ships. It's going to be everywhere. I cannot wait. What else did I do? So I'm wearing a shirt, so I didn't necessarily, I usually put on a polo or whatever. I didn't dress down. Like my daughter is graduating 2024, so we've been doing a lot of graduation stuff. So she got her senior pictures. Thank you. She got her senior pictures back. They're gorgeous, obviously. She got pinned. Part of the curriculum is she got her CNA, excuse me, my voice is cracking, and her, I think it's CMAA. It's like Certified Medical Administrative Assistant, I think is what it is, CMAA. So she can work in a clinical setting, answer phone, stuff like that. Or CNA, right? She can take care of patients to a certain degree, right? As much as a CNA is allowed within that process, right? So that was part of her high school curriculum. She graduated. She had to put on her little scrubs because she's a tiny person. Got her pin. And now she's starting her freshman year this summer at USF. So super proud. But my birthday was Saturday. But I did a lot of celebration earlier because it was also prom. So she went to prom last night. Looked gorgeous, took lots of pictures and what have you. So it's just a lot of her growing up very quickly, right? So next year she'll be in college. It's crazy. Like they grow up so fast. And then junior is only 2 years behind her. So we'll see how quickly that transpires. So yeah, so I'm wearing the shirt in honor of her, right? She's about to graduate. Then next up will be 2026. That'll be junior. And then I think 2032 or 2033 will be our youngest. I can't even imagine what that year, like, there better be flying cars. I'm going to be pissed. It is time. They got AI.
Flying AI cars. Is going to be everything, man. AI.
They don't even drive themselves yet. Even that's not even turned on all the way. Man, my voice is really shot. And then, because it's my birthday, so I got this guy right here. This, if you're on audio, I'm holding up the PlayStation Portal. Started playing some games on it last night. Very impressed. It's not that expensive. They're always out of stock. So when I saw it pop on PlayStation's official site, I told my wife, I was like, I want that for my birthday. So she got me that. I cannot wait to play all the indie games and stuff like that. And then we're hosting my nieces, so it's came in perfect timing because they're watching Bluey and Peppa Pig. They got the TV tied up, which is fine. So now I got the ability to still play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth from the comfort of wherever I crash out in the house. So I'm super excited. Cannot wait to put us through his paces today. And then so I got that small screen. I got a widescreen monitor. She hooked me up for. When it comes to production, I'm doing a lot of moving windows and having an alt tab. So I got the super ultra wide, so 32 by 9 monster. Currently looking at. That's why my head keeps going this way, to look at all the screen. But this morning I woke up at 5 o'clock because Junior was on it all night, so I didn't get a chance to play with it. And I downloaded Doom Eternal, which supports 32 by 9. It is glorious. It's curved, so it's like you're in it, and it's an amazing piece of tech. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna live without this in my life. I can't go back to the office setting where I don't have one of these. Cannot. Because at first, when I was hooking up, Junior looked at it, he was like, that's too big. That's a monster. You don't need that. It's not going to look good. And then we plugged it in, changed a couple settings, and I didn't get back on it. He had it for the rest of the night. So I'm like, it's too big, huh? So super excited about that. I can't wait to do the episode, right? Like I have like the full time bar at the bottom will be smaller than the screen finally. So I have to drag and scroll. Like it's just a lot of quality of life things will be fixed. And then when I do game from time to time, which I tried playing Doom with the keyboard and mouse, could not. So I had to plug in the Xbox controller, plays like a champ. So I'm downloading some more games that support it, try those out. And then still super busy, right? So today will be the Knicks and Pacers. That's at 3:30. That's Game 7. I wish we had not gotten ourselves to a Game 7 situation. So I didn't watch all season for real. I'm watching this game at 3:30. And
I saw that girl do that Reggie Miller thing.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
It's funny.
I was like, how'd you get yourself into a Game 7 situation? So we're gonna watch that at 3:30, and then tonight Kevin Hart, he'll be here in Tampa. So that's one of my birthday presents. So I'm gonna go see Kevin Hart. Got some really good seats. But the comedy show doesn't really matter. Last time we went to see Chappelle, and we were up in the nosebleeds, which is fine, right? I'm not elitist or whatever. Like comedy is comedy. He's funny from wherever you're at in the stadium. But this lady was bugging in front of us. She was talking back and forth to the comedian. She was vaping out of her purse. Like she literally had a vape in her purse. She would put her purse into her face and vape. And she was doing some recreational stuff too. So I was like, yo, get me out of here. So I want to go somewhere where the security is more responsive. I can't be sitting behind people tweaking. Like she was awesome.
You don't want your experience ruined, right? Like you got to pay more for that.
Or being exposed to whatever chemicals is in her vape pen. I don't know what she's smoking. Like for her she was like having a full conversation with Chappelle. Like so she was bugging. So I was like, I don't know what she's smoking. I got it. So I was like, I want to be closer. So it is what it is. Sorry, people. Like if you listen to this, you're like, he's elitist. No, I want to enjoy my experience. So I asked for some good seats.
You're health conscious. You know, worried about your health.
Yeah, I don't know what's in her vape pen. I won't say what I think was in her vape pen on the radio for people to hear. But yeah, so I'm going to see it tonight. Super excited. Last time I saw him was with the Times. We saw him in Virginia. Hilarious. Comedy's always funnier in person. I don't care who it is. They're always funnier in person. I don't know if it's the energy or whatever from the rest of the audience. But I don't know if he'll ever be as funny as, I think it was Grown Ass Little Man was the Grown Little Man or whatever. That is the funniest special he dropped. I want that again. You ever wish you could forget something so you can experience it again? I want that again.
The experiences aren't the same though. It's like rappers that get out of the hood. Like, what are you really talking about now, right?
Right.
When it was grimy, like, oh yeah, I like that, right? You were coming up, you were hungry, but now it's like, my Picasso is only 10 million. You know what I mean? Like, oh,
yeah, that's Jay-Z, right? Like, you go from Reasonable Doubt to 444.
Yeah,
but these two different people. You talking about buying apartment buildings? We don't relate. I can't relate to it no more. I couldn't relate before, but at least I could understand. Now I can't even fathom
generational wealth, but how to do generational wealth.
Buying paintings.
He even had his daughter. Yeah, even had his daughter on there saying, "Daddy, what's a will?" But here's the thing. I understand what he's saying by that, right? Like, when it comes to like planning and things like that, especially in the Black community, it's not very much thought about, right? So like the fact that he did a song where he started out like that, she's like, "Daddy, what's a will?" And he goes and raps through it. I'm like, I understand. Like, you're trying to give people the knowledge they should have to live better, or to live better for the next generation that you have.
No, that's very true. But yeah, so we'll see what the future holds with the show. I can't take a picture or anything like that. It's now when you go to a comedy show, you take your stuff, they put it in the bag, and then they give you the bag. The secure bag, they lock it, they give it to you. So that's what's going to happen here as well. So there'll be no pictures of like, hey, look where I'm sitting at. So I can't even flex on people on Twitter. This was just for the best. And then just trying to get some game time in. The little one, I don't know if you saw me talking off camera. The little one already knocked on the door. He wants to jump on the computer. So I'll probably let him play around with it for a little bit. Then I'm gonna try out Tomb Raider. So the Tomb Raider on Game Pass has, like, I was looking for all the games that was supported, the 32:9 aspect ratio. And on Game Pass, it was Tomb Raider, Doom Eternal, Fallout 4, Forza, and Halo Infinite. There's some others, but those were the ones that piqued my interest. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna download all these, which I did, and try them out today to get that full experience. But so far, so good. Like, I'm running a 3060, and it's more than capable. The only thing, because the monitor was purchased to be future proof, because it's OLED, HDR, 240 hertz, all that stuff, right? But my card, I don't think supports the 240, because when we cut it on last night, it flickered between apps. It didn't seem to like the switch. So I have a hard set to 120 now, which is still melting my eyeballs. But in the future, whenever I do upgrade the GPU, I'll probably get even more capabilities out of it, right? It'll do some new, cooler things when I get there. But that's it for Tech Talk. And then obviously we had cake last night, so enjoyed that. I'm on a diet, but for my birthday dinner and dessert, I went all out. So I'll probably gain a pound or two, and then have to burn it off. It is what it is.
That's what you're supposed to do on your birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'm hoping for a good turnout for the Knicks. I'm hoping that this comedy show is hilarious, and then next week just be more productive, and I got more real estate. So, try to knock out all these shows today, if possible, in the afternoon. I get everything prepped and ready for next week, and then go from there. We are close to 500, so please like, share, subscribe, hit a bell. There's a bell involved. We're trying to get a 500 by the end of June, 1,000 by the end of the year. I think we're over 40% higher this month over last month on downloads. I think we're going to break 1,000, if not get close to 1,500 this month, which happens from time to time. I don't know why. I can't figure out the analytics. Some months we were just shy of 1,000. Other months we hit 2. So just continue to share us. We try to be as consistent as possible. I've been kind of late posting some stuff the past couple of weeks, but just all these family events has just been taking away time. But going forward, we should probably be good until I take my vacation, and then we'll figure something out from there. But that's not until July timeframe. So keep hitting up all the websites that go by our name. See the other side of the firewall, the other side of the FW, or ask a CISSP. Hit me up personally at Security Guy. That's our security. You can find me mostly on LinkedIn, but also Threads, Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Medium for our articles. And you, Chris, where can they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn under Chris Avicon.
There it is. Stay safe. Stay secure.